Oopsies, we're starting Sleeping at Last 4. Okay, so the song that I played right before I clicked record is an album called Sleeping at Last, and hey, it's okay. We'll see you in a minute. Hey, Eli, did you tell her she couldn't come in? Okay, gotcha. My kids just got home from the park, and I didn't see them I saw them this afternoon. Anyway, okay. And I heard them come in right as I was turning on the phone, and I knew it would happen. Okay, so Sleeping at Last, Enneagram, they did a whole album on every Enneagram series, and it was just beautiful, but I am so excited, you guys. Tonight, we get to talk about Enneagram 3, and I'm a 3, so I'm taking the whole training. This is the first time in a while that I've done the whole training, and I literally could not be more excited. And so, here we go. Let's dive right in. Okay, all about us. It's type 3 in brief. 3s are, and this is just reading from the Enneagram Institute, is as the, like kind of what we are. 3s are self-assured, attractive, charming, ambitious, competent, energetic, and can also be status conscious and highly driven for advancement. Typically, we have problems with workaholism and competitiveness. At our best, we are self-accepting, authentic, and everything we seem to be, which is, role models who inspire others. Our basic fear is of being worthless, and our basic desire is to feel valuable and worthwhile. So our key motivations, just as an overview, we want to be affirmed, to distinguish ourselves from others, to have attention, to be admired, and to impress others. And I'll tell you that as I was preparing for this training, part of me is like, I don't want to read it. Like, I don't want to say it because it feels so like part of the 3. Can feel a little slimy, but there are good sides and there are really like negative sides. We're going to dive into that. So I just wanted to start off by saying, like, I'm going to be straightforward, and some of the things that I'm going to say are going to feel uncomfortable for me because I don't want it to sound like, I don't know, the truth, but I'm going to push through that feeling and say exactly what I feel. And then also, just as like a reminder, we're doing this series because we want to work with each other the best possible way. And I want to enroll all the numbers in my team. I want to enroll 1 through 9, and I want to be able to empower them and speak their language. And so I promise tonight that I will speak clearly as a 3, so that if you want to win a 3 over, you know how to do it. And also, caveat, I am literally I'm not thinking of any specific interaction when I'm like, and if someone does this, it's like, feels like this. So if you have ever, like, we've ever had an interaction where you're like, oh, we had that, like, I'm not even thinking of anyone. I was just generic. This is very overview. Okay. So if you want to win a 3 over, all right, be efficient. And number 1, be efficient and respect our time. So here's how this can play out. If you want to win a 3 over and you voice message them, like 10-minute voice message, like asking a question that could have been written in a 1-sentence question, that feels to a 3 like you don't understand the pace at which we play. So we have a lot of things going on because we feel value when we feel productive. And so if we're not being productive, we feel like, yeah, see, no, don't go to shame. It's totally fine. Like we feel like we are understood when people can kind of match our pace. And so and I feel like just my personal perspective is like, I understand that not everyone sees it that way. So I'm not like, oh, they don't respect my time. But the initial feeling that I get, like a gut response, when I see a voice message come through or multiple voice messages, is I'm like, okay, hopefully this is jam-packed full of all the vital information. That's just honest. Okay, so number 2, and this kind of is tricky, but this is kind of like if you want to win a 3 over, and maybe if they're like in your upline, try really hard to find the answer first by going to Google or YouTube. Don't feel like you have to spend your whole day finding the answer. We understand because we can understand that if we know the answer quick, we will match your efficiency with that. But like if it's something that you could have done, that you could have like just called customer service and done the exact same thing, then we feel like that same kind of first one, like, oh, they don't understand like the pace at which we play. Okay, number 3. This one, I was talking to Whitney this morning, and she gave me this one. Whitney Krager is a 3. Okay, don't feel like you have to make a statement like, oh, so sorry you're so busy, I hate to bother you. Because sometimes people are like, oh, they value efficiency, I want to like apologize. We take 110% full responsibility for our schedule, and this is how we want it. And we feel prideful that we have it the way we want it. So if you say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you're so busy, I hate to bother you with this, we feel that you don't think that we have the personal power to decide how to spend our time, if we respond or if we don't. So autonomy and time management is really important to us. Number 4, again, I'm like being really honest, and it's somewhat uncomfortable, and at the same time I feel like this sweet relief, right? Because I've like finally given permission to say it. Okay, number 4, getting together with no project or agenda unless you're in our inner circle feels like a really big waste of time. Number 5, if we respond to a question or a text with a quick answer, this is us assuming that you also want to be communicated with us the same way we would like to be communicated with. So we aren't trying to like just brush you off and like just get it over with. We actually just really love feeling relationships where we're not needed all the time, so that we can hustle through and do what we need to do. So if like I've done this before, where I'll get like a really long voice message, it's the sweetest person and it's the sweetest message, and I'm like replying, oh my gosh, thank you so much, that means so much, love you, XOXO. I'm like, you're welcome that I said what I needed to say in one quick sentence. But like if they're a 2, or if that's a 9, or if that's a 6, that, or a 4, that could feel like, oh, she didn't even care what I said. But really what we're trying to do is just like respond efficiently, because we thought that that's what they would want. Okay, this is kind of geared towards 7s. So 7s would have a tendency with this. If you want to win a 3 over, be on time with your appointments and follow through with what you say you're going to do. Because having a project completed well is really important to us. So if we've trusted you with we've said you want to do this, you've said yes, and then you don't follow through, it's like, oh man, darn it, we can't trust that anymore. Okay. Yes, I'm 5 minutes early or I'm late. Exactly. That's so true. And you'll notice that, at least for me as a 3, if I am late by a minute or more, I feel this incredible weight of like responsibility. I feel horrible about it. And I just feel like it like makes me feel so sad. Okay. All right. Here's the negative side a little bit. We are status conscious, or can be status conscious. So if you want to win a 3 over, recognize our rank and our number stats. So if we're like at the top of a leaderboard, or we're doing something awesome, or we have achieved something awesome, it is important to us. It feels really special to us if we are praised publicly and recognized publicly for that, specifically if you are ahead of us in our journey. So this is like, but we organize everyone by a ranking of whatever ranking we decide. So like a hierarchy. So if someone's a higher rank than me, they hold a different weight in my mind than someone who's a lower rank than me. Not that they're more valuable or less valuable, but their opinion or what they say about me, it holds more weight. So if you are an upline of a 3 and you are ahead of the 3, for you to praise publicly would mean more than anything in the world. And then with that, give platform as well. So the quickest way to kind of turn a 3 off, this isn't like a section, but this goes with it. And I like almost shared a story here, but I decided not to, is like, if you have someone who is a 3 and like you were to host a class that is like their wheelhouse and they're awesome and it's like their thing to talk about, but you totally don't invite them to speak on it, that could feel like, never mind, I'm not even going to engage here, right? So that is just honest. So be very aware of platform and where to give it if you want to win a 3 over. Okay, from under us or below us, which means like someone who is not in the hierarchy of whatever game we're playing. Does that make sense? Like, it sounds so bad to say like lower or under or below, but like behind us in our journey or whatever, that is not important to us. So giving public praise, like if it doesn't matter, it wouldn't matter to me. But respect would matter at that point. So like respecting time is really big at that point. So like, yeah, that is good. Okay. If you're trying to enroll a 3 into the business, you have to clearly paint the picture for how good the 3 would be at this business. Because if they or we feel like we won't succeed at something, we will not commit to it because it's too terrifying to imagine failure. 3s can be some of the most long, drawn out decision makers ever, but when they finally make the decision to go for it, they will not stop until it's done. And the biggest thing for me as a 3, and I'm going to talk about how to like run your business as a 3, but the biggest thing for me as a 3 is like, if I can really attach my mindset to the fact that like winning is sticking it out, winning is playing a long-term game, there will be no quitting. And I'm like, I feel that I understand how rare that is. And I also am like, oh man, I hope everyone can like connect with that. Okay. So to distinguish ourselves from others, we want to have attention and we want to be admired. So I don't remember what number I'm on. Sorry guys, I started out saying number 1, number 2. But I don't know what number I'm on because I did bullet points. Don't take it, okay, this is specifically if you're an upline to a 3 and you're leading a 3. Don't take it personally when we launch into our own groups, our own campaigns, our own Zoom call, our own anything, because we aren't trying to abandon you or like take away from your vision. We're having inspiration about how we can create something epic and make it happen. And so if you want to empower a 3 in your downline, give them all thumbs up and encourage that and praise that. Might be kind of obvious, but I've seen it before where people like specifically like people who really value community might feel like, oh my gosh, why are you leaving the nest? Like the nest is so great. Like stay here, like play here at this. But the 3 is like, but I have a vision and I'm excited. I want to go for it. It can be, that could be conflict. Okay, this is a huge one. And I learned this by working with my mom. We as a 3, if you have a 3 in your downline, they don't see your greater team as their team. So like a 2, a 4, a 9, maybe some other numbers would address their team as our team. They would say, oh, our team, we're all together. The 3 distinguishes and says, my team is me plus my organization. It's not in a negative way. It's just, what does it have to do with me? What's going on outside of me? Because I can't control that. I can't make that team win. So like, this is my focus. And because we want to distinguish ourselves from others, I'll tell you, for me, like in the past, there's like been people who will be like, oh, and I'm part of Jordan's team. And I like have like, this is probably like super negative, but I'll like have a fiery rage and be like, I don't care. Because if you're not in my team, it's irrelevant to me where you are in Young Living. I'm so happy you're in Young Living, but I don't like, there's like a serious detachment from like structure. And so if you don't think like that, it could feel like, oh my gosh, what a rude person. Like, but really it's just because we want to win and we want to distinguish ourselves from others. And so it's just a high priority. Okay. Yes. Faith says praise means more than money to a 3. 100%. I would not care if I got paid from Young Living as long as I got to go on the trip and get a photo of the trip to post on Instagram. And as crazy as that is, it's just the truth. Okay. So that shows me that how I occur to others matters more than money. Okay. Criticism is really hard for us. I think it is for everyone, but like when people give feedback without being asked, that can be really hard. And so we have to work really hard through that. If you're if you are asked, like for like, hey, how, if a 3 comes to you and says, hey, how could I do this better? Then the best way to have that conversation, the most impactful way would be to focus on the strengths of the 3 and how they're being underutilized versus what is being done wrong. All right, so how to rock your business as a 3. All right, so who is a 3 in the chat? I know we have Laura. I know we have, yeah. Okay, I know we have a few that are confused or not curious. Okay, Kate. Okay, Robin. Awesome. Okay, Faith, is this all resonating with you so far? I'm curious. All right, so how to rock your business as a 3. Okay, understand, 3s, that your quick ability to pull the trigger on things, projects, plans, campaigns, and move fast through all of it is one of the most valuable things that you can teach other numbers. That is a natural thing for you. And it's like, oh yeah, I can just quickly make this happen. That is very rare and pretty rare just for the 3, because we understand that getting more done and getting more done typically leads to more results. So with that being said, 3s, commit to a time frame, not results. So say you're going to give all out effort for this amount of time instead of, oh, I'm going to hit senior star by this date. Because as a 3, if you say, I'm going to hit senior star by this date and you fail at it, it could be crushing. But if you commit to 4 years and see what you could do, you can praise yourself for the time you spent, versus like, you know, you can praise yourself for the time you spent versus like your results, and that will be help you keep yourself in the game. Okay, don't let yourself compete with your own team. And how I explained this to Eli when I was like walking through this, and he was a little confused, so hopefully I can say it in a better way. It's like, if you have someone in your team who's going off and doing their own thing, but you had previously set a goal for yourself to have, like, let's say you have a call on Thursday nights and you wanted all your team there. You have someone in your downline who had something else going on Thursday. And you're like, but I really had a goal for 10 people to be on my thing, and I know I could get 3 of those people. Don't feel like you have to compete with what they're doing. Just like empower them, and it will, when they win, you win. Okay. Okay, here we go. This one's huge. Understand that your drive for life is not a problem for all the other areas of your life outside of business. Meaning that you as a 3 will feel a constant tension between having a perfect house, a perfect run business, a perfect, you know, all the things that you've decided you want to do, and that you're going to be the best at all of them. And you're going to have the best hair, and you're going to have the best workout routine, and you're going to have the best, all of it, like whatever it is, right? The reality is that you will not be able to do it all. And that does not make you a failure. It is actually a gift. And here's why. You are being gifted the constant reality check that your production is not a sum of your worth. I'm going to say that again, okay? You are being gifted the reality check that your production is not a sum of your worth. In fact, you are worthy because you are a human being on this planet, and you've been given the gift of life, and your acceptance of yourself is the absolute best gift that you could be giving to yourself. And every single day you will be up against this challenge. Every single day, this is going to be popping up for you and me every single day. And so you get to, and I get to surrender to the reality that we get to accept ourselves and love ourselves beyond our production or what we do. Okay, not everyone this is the next point. Not everyone in your team will be able to keep up with you and handle the insanity of your schedule. So here's where this has gotten me in the past. I wanted so badly to prove that I was doing so many things because I thought it made me feel so awesome, and it really did make me feel so awesome, that I wanted to talk about it all the time. And I would do Insta stories of my full day. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But why I was doing that was a problem. And it was because it felt like I was winning at being so productive. It was like, yeah, all you guys who are like, literally, this is like a toxic thought. Okay. So you're just going to like be led into the toxicity of the old me, right? I'm like, all you people who can't even like whatever, fill in the blank, like watch what I could do, you know, that like made me feel special or like I was winning. If we aren't careful, that need that we're trying to fill, and like it's a need that we're plastering out. It's not a thank you. It's a please, not a thank you. We're plastering our pleases. If we aren't careful, it will come across like that craziness and that lifestyle is the only way you can be successful, when it's not true. And we almost have this like innate, like, oh, we hope it's true because then we could get ahead and win because we can handle that kind of, chaos. But the truth is, it's not the only way to be successful. And so when we present ourselves as like I can do it all, and this is the only way to do it, it could repel other numbers from wanting to do the business. Like, well, I'm just not like you, fill in the blank. And a lot of threes, people think that they have to look like, because we like to make it seem like that, because we like to win. We like to feel better than everyone else. It's ugly, but it's true. All right. So threes, you can see failure. You can see failure as winning when you understand that you never lose. You either win or you learn. So when you don't hit a goal, when I don't hit a goal, when I don't get to the top of the leaderboard in whatever competition, like, you didn't fail, you're learning. So that is the 3. Woo! How's that? That actually is what I have. I have Eli was like suggesting that I go through and just kind of address like potential trouble spots for all the other numbers, but I don't think I'm going to do that, because you can go on the EnneagramInstitute.com, click learn, and then type relationships and just, check it out. Yeah, when we don't hit the rank when we said we would, exactly. And we have, okay, so this is another thing too, like we have this inner voice that thinks that everyone is thinking about us all the time. And it's like, for real, we need like a check sometimes, be like, they're not thinking about, like, nobody else is thinking about you. But we think that everyone is. So every time we walk into a room, we're thinking about how others are perceiving us. And sometimes it's hard to remember how to be true to us and what we feel and what we need to do, because we think everyone, is expecting everything of us that we are. And we just, I don't know, get in our heads about that. So anyway, all that to say, as a Enneagram 3, it is so fun because, yes, exactly. So for us, it's really fun to let go of that, because it's like such a freeing life, and it can take time. And, everyone has different levels of where they're at in maturity. I would say that this is one thing that I encourage you to look into, because if you haven't read kind of the levels, you can go on the EnneagramInstitute.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the type description of Enneagram 3 and read level 1 at their best. And I'll just kind of read: at their best, self-accepting, inner-directed, authentic, everything they seem to be, modest and charitable. This one I didn't quite understand, because it said self-deprecatory humor. And I thought I wouldn't see that as healthy, but I think what they mean is just like being able to be lighthearted about their own failures or whatever, and a fullness of heart emerge. Whereas as you go up to level 2, level 3, that's like really healthy. But then when you're like an average level of level 4, this is highly concerned with their performance, doing their job well, constantly driving themselves to achieve goals as if their self-worth depends on it. Terrified of failure, compare self with others in search for status and success, become careerist, social climbers, invested in exclusivity and being the best. And then there's like level 5, level 6, and then the unhealthy levels start to get level 7, where you're like fearing failure and humiliation, They can be exploitative and opportunistic, covetous of the success of others, and willing to do whatever it takes to preserve the illusion of their superiority. And then level 9 is just gets like becoming vindictive, attempting to ruin others' happiness. So what you could do is just go through and read through there and kind of like plot yourself, like, oh, I'm right there. I know when I started Young Living, I was 100%, 100% level 4, like 100%. Like I was so concerned with how people saw me and concerned with my performance. And I really do feel like I'm like moving up. Such a 3 thing to say, right? All right, you guys. Yeah. And so, type 3s are totally like, yeah, overachievers anyway. And Jen, you know what? Here's the thing, because you're not alone. There's a lot of people who feel like they relate with a lot of numbers. I know I've seen a lot of people be like, I relate with every number. That is totally, totally normal, because the test online, I feel like, is very skewed, and not skewed, but like the way to tell is to start looking on Instagram and like seeing the memes and seeing the, like, you know, all the crazy stuff. You'll start to be like, oh my gosh, yes. So, okay, we have some opportunity to channel our inner 3 right now and create some FOMO. So what that means is fear of missing out. So this is a 3 thing to do. So if you want to create FOMO on your phone, take a screenshot of this Zoom or whatever, and put it on your Insta story and add some fun music and be like, oh my gosh, you should have been there. This was so fun. And that's a 3 thing to do. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to take a picture of you all, put it on Instagram. And you don't have to do this, obviously. This is just for fun. For fun for me. And also. All right. I'll add that. And then within the next 15 minutes, we have the opportunity to promote the heck out of Lungs and Sinuses class happening. And so, yeah, I can't wait to see you back here in 15 minutes. Same Zoom link. Thanks for joining in. Shout out to all the 3s tonight. Love you guys. I'll see you in a minute.